Sometimes when you're lost, when you're lost, when you're lost, when you're lost, when you're
Welcome, my friends, to Cuéntame USA with Moncho Camano. Same guy. Nobody else is going to replace me. Today, we're speaking with Sapphira Vee. She's she makes experimental, industrial, trip hop, goth, dark wave, whatever you want to call it. She makes great music. So
Thank you, Jose.
yeah, so she hails from Western New York. And I think right now she's located in Chicago area.
Yes,
She
I
she
am in.
moved. She moved.
I moved about a year ago to the Chicago area. Absolutely.
Right. So we're gonna talk to her about because I came across her music not that long ago. Let's be
Mhm.
sincere. Maybe 5 months, 6 months ago. Yeah,
Okay.
more or less. More or less.
Now, how
So
did you hear about me?
I, mm, I'm not sure, or Instagram
Hmm.
or YouTube. One of the
Yeah.
two. I'm not sure
Okay.
which one came first.
Yeah.
But that's how I came across your music. Probably because I was, I interview a lot of bands, dark wave bands and stuff, and I see a lot of videos on YouTube. So maybe you came across YouTube, and like I said, so very interesting. I have no idea. I listened to her all the music, not all the music she put out, and maybe I did. I'm not sure, but for
Hmm.
what I listened, I really enjoyed it. So we're gonna talk about her, and for my viewers and listeners in other countries or even in the United States who don't know who she is, maybe you'll find out and enjoy listening to her music and buy some of her stuff. Never know.
Yes, definitely buy some of my stuff.
Right. And what I want to say, she's a very talkative person. So I'm gonna pretend that I'm just for decoration. I'll be like a Christmas tree like with ornaments, and she'll do the talking because you can tell that whatever.
Well,
Just kidding.
and Jose and I were talking about the fact that I also do interviews on my radio show. So if I seem to be taking this over, Jose, I
Don't
apologize.
worry, I'll just go for coffee and walk my dog.
You know what? You just take the afternoon off or evening. What time
Yeah.
is it where you
It's
are?
a 7
It's
p.m. Eastern
it's 7
time.
p.m. Okay, so yeah, take the evening off, and I'll
Yeah.
just take
You
over.
just keep going. I'll come back later. Just give me a call when you're done.
You know what? Can you bring me something? Are you going to go to Starbucks? Can you bring
I'll
me a?
get one of those $10 coffees. I'll start a Dunkin' No, Wawa. I'll start a Wawa
I
if I
like
can.
Dunkin'. I like the chai latte at Dunkin' a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just kidding. I go to Starbucks a lot. I just don't have. I hate those lanes. The lines going to
Oh, I
waiting
know.
together. I'm like, no, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to the Wawa and get some coffee over there. I
There
don't
you
have
go.
the patience anyway. So let's find out who you are. I know who you are. I have
Mm-hmm.
an idea.
Okay.
So let's pretend that I haven't. I have no. I don't know who you are. I just showed up on my screen, and I want
Okay.
to find out about you. Were you the grew up in the 80s or 90s that era?
Um, I even a little bit of the 70s as well.
Okay.
I'm an old timer.
Mm,
So yeah,
okay.
I started doing music actually in the early 90s
Okay.
and in Western New York. And back then before we had this was pre-internet.
Right.
And so the people that you worked with and the bands that you were in were all kind of local, right? So I worked with local musicians, did shows at a lot of clubs in various bands in Western New York and like Rochester and Buffalo mostly.
Mm,
Um, and that was all a whole lot of fun. I had graduated from college and was just young and enjoying doing music. Of course, doing music was a lot different back then,
sure.
and eventually I got married, had kids, and stopped for a while. So working a full-time job, and so I once the kids were old enough that they didn't really need me to be watching them all the time, and they were kind of getting lives of their own and hanging with their friends and doing activities and things, I
Hmm.
found I had some time on my hands. So I started doing music again about 6 years ago. Started releasing music again, but I had to relearn everything
Right.
because
Super nice.
now you've got social media, which is a great way
Hmm.
to network with supporters and other musicians. And everyone can, well, not everyone, but most people can afford a DAW, digital audio workstation,
That's right.
and which is wonderful because that's where you can build and record your music. And so I had to learn how to use one because back when I was doing music in the 90s,
Yeah.
just the studios had them. They all had like Pro Tools and whatnot.
Right.
Cakewalk maybe. So and you would go to a studio to record. You didn't record at home. I mean, I had a little 4-track cassette recorder
Right.
at home just to kind of do demos and things. And I would, we'd bring that into the studio, and then they would
Hmm.
obviously multi-track us. But anyways, so yeah, so I kind of span a couple different decades of doing music and with a big gap in between.
Right. Hmm. So, when did you started to play guitar? Because you started playing guitar quite
Mhm.
young, am I right? And also you
Yeah,
played violin, or you learned how to play the violin at that time?
I did. I played violin in grammar school and
Mm.
into high school. And I still every once in a while will pick up a violin. I love stringed instruments. I love orchestral music.
Hmm.
I love classical music. I'm especially big fan of the Baroque era, Antonio Vivaldi. Um,
Right. Okay.
um, I started playing guitar probably I was a little bit older. I was maybe 10 or 12,
Mm.
playing an acoustic guitar. And then when I was 14 years old, I got my first electric guitar. And I would just play along with my records, you know, just a lot of early, like, oh gosh, like 80s kind of REM, Gun Club, stuff
Okay.
like that. Guitar music from that era.
Mm.
And I mean, I took lessons and things.
Right.
And yeah, so that's kind of my first, I guess my first job as a musician was actually as a guitar player
Hmm.
for a local punk-ish band.
Okay.
I didn't start doing vocals until I kind of branched off from that band with a member of that band, and we kind of went off on our own, and we
Hmm.
started doing electronic music where we had backing tracks. We would record them on a DAT tape, and
Hmm.
we would kind of switch off between keyboards and guitar and vocals.
Hmm. Is that you're talking about the band, the Blast of Paris? Is that the one I?
So Blast Paris,
Blast
wow,
Paris.
you did your homework, Jose. I
I got
am
nothing
like,
to do.
woo, I am
Yeah.
I am
Just kidding.
impressed. So yeah, Blast Paris was the first band that I was in, and that was
Mm.
with Paj Cascol and Paul Fazy.
Mm.
Everybody in the band was named Paul, but me. Paj's name is actually Paul Costanza, Paul Fazy, and Paul Della Pietra on drums.
Okay.
And yeah, I was their guitar player. They had a singer named Paul Regan. So there were 4 Pauls in that band. Paul
Okay.
Regan moved to Seattle, and Paj took over vocals, but he was the lead guitar player, and he didn't want to play lead guitar and sing. So he
Mm.
asked me to play guitar. So I had to learn all his solos and things,
Mm.
which were really easy because he had gotten in a motorcycle accident and he could only play leads with 2 fingers. So they
Wow.
were like, they were pretty simple leads, and
Right.
I played
Right.
some rhythm guitar. But yeah, that was my first band. And but then
They ne
Paul,
they never
go
call you
ahead.
Paulette or anything. Just
You
simple.
know what? I don't think they ever did that. Isn't that funny? We were just Paul, and Janet.
So, do you have any like childhood memories that you still feel like a place in your heart that always comes back to you when you were like, oh man, I still remember.
Like related to music or just in
Yeah,
general.
relating to music,
So my
like
parents,
thinking memories of the past. Like say, I wish
yeah,
we could go back a little bit and did redo things that I did.
yeah, my parents, mostly my dad, but really both of my parents listened to a lot of music. And
Hmm.
my dad had an 8-track tape, and it was a mixtape of Motown songs. And
Okay.
I could remember just we would put that tape in and we would just dance and sing along. And I have a great love for Motown
Hmm.
because of that. and Diana Ross specifically. She was one of my very first idols.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just those days where you could where we would just throw a tape in and just dance around the house and sing.
Yeah,
You
I used
know.
to do that too.
Hmm.
I used to do. I also read or heard or read, I'm not sure, but you mentioned it somewhere that you were a David Bowie fan. Is
Very
that
big David Bowie fan. Favorite album, Ziggy Stardust.
yeah, 72?
I used to listen to that album from start to finish, and they had the words on the sleeve, and I
Mm.
would sing along with every single song from start to finish, and then do it again and do it again. I absolutely huge David Bowie fan. I was very upset when he passed away.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I'm a
I,
big Bowie fan. That's why I mentioned it
yeah,
because I was crazy about him. But
tremendous influence. I don't know if you could actually hear it in what I do. You can probably hear some other influences more than Bowie, but he has
yeah,
always been a tremendous influence on me.
yeah, yeah. No, I hear stuff,
Yeah.
of what you do. So yeah, you were a big fan, I bet. Uh,
I guess the fact that he was willing to experiment and reinvent himself,
oh
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
know that's probably the Bowie that you're hearing in what I do.
yeah. For me it was crazy because the first album I bought of him, I was in Spain,
Uh-huh.
and I have no idea who he was. I was young. I bought the Bowie Changes one
Oh
with
yeah.
all the early hits.
Hmm.
So after that, I became crazy about him, and then I started buying everything, Hunky Dory and
Hmm.
Young Americans, all that stuff. But when I heard Low, after the first time I heard the album Low '77, I was like, "This is different. I cannot. It has nothing to do with what he did prior." I was like,
Exactly. He would
and
always reinvent himself.
yeah. So
Yeah.
after that, I just followed.
Very much like Madonna does also.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm a
that's
big
true
fan of
too.
hers as well.
Me too. Me too. So I enjoyed all that. So I was going to ask you regarding what was the first time you started writing songs, lyrics and stuff?
Uh,
I imagine if that was before you even started making music, you were writing things on paper.
yeah, I constantly wrote poems as a child. I was
Hmm.
always writing poems. I remember when my paternal grandfather passed away when I was about 6 years old. I wrote him a poem, and they buried him with it, and that made
Oh,
me so
that's
happy.
beautiful.
And I would write lyrics for like the band down the street. There's like a band down the street that practiced in their garage, a garage band, and
Right.
they actually used a couple of my lyrics, and I had like poems published in my high school yearbook and things like that. So I was always writing poems and lyrics and things.
Hmm. That's
I didn't
interesting.
start I didn't start actually writing songs until probably high school.
Hmm.
A friend of mine who was a drummer, and we played guitar and drums together, and we had our little girl band together, and
Hmm.
we wrote songs. That was really and truly my first band, I guess. Blast Paris was my first working band where we were
Right.
actually going
Yeah.
out and doing shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Upstate New York is quite weather. We talk about the weather. It's like very long winters, very cold.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
the environment maybe has something to do with the lyrics that you used to write and whatever. I think if you were born in Florida, that would be totally different. I don't know. I'm not sure, but those
It's
environments maybe
possible.
seep into your songs. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, in Rochester, New York, it's about 100 inches of snow every winter. So,
Right.
you're pretty much barricaded in the house. I'm a cross country skier, so I'd get out and ski. But if you were not into winter sports, you were in the house for three or 4 months every year.
Yeah.
And that would always be it's funny. We would always kind of think of that as the work season. Like if you're a musician, it's like you're not outside doing stuff, either recreational or lawn work or whatever, things that you do outside. You're not doing that. You're stuck in the
Right.
house, and so a lot of people would get a lot of writing done, and
Right.
studio work done in the winter.
Right. It's like being in the pandemic. It's you have to be in the house.
Yeah, well, a lot of music was written during the pandemic.
Right. Uh, uh, I was going to ask you regarding your songs. Are they typically created in a similar way, or do you experiment with different approaches for each of your songs?
It's definitely progressed over time. When I started writing as just as Sapphira Vee, that sort of era of my
Right.
life, I the first, I think, EP that I put together, I wrote everything on my guitar first, and
Okay.
then kept some of the guitar parts, but then added in keyboard and bass and drums. And then I kind of slowly morphed into writing a little bit more on the keyboard,
Mm.
or starting with the drums and then adding a bass layer over that. And I just kind of sort of evolved in different ways.
Mm.
Um, I'm actually working on a new EP now that
Okay.
is tentatively named Unfolding, and
Oh, okay.
it is based on, I wrote a bunch of short stories, and it's
Mm.
based on those short stories. So I took each short story and I what I call lyricized them. And so I had all these lyrics. And so this was the first time I just wrote like a whole bunch of lyrics and then added music to them. And I did that in all different ways as well. And sometimes I write horizontally and sometimes I write vertically. So
Okay.
when I write vertically, that's when I'm layering things on top of one another. When I write horizontally, I'm actually starting with an intro. I don't know what the rest of the song is going to sound like, but I'm writing an
Right.
intro and then I add things on horizontally. And I guess I kind of whatever whatever mood I'm in and whatever seems to fit is kind of the method that I used. And I'll always be experimenting, you know.
Right. Yeah, it seems to me like you're always experimenting.
Hmm.
Like I said, I listened to your the albums. My Game was
My game, yeah.
Unmasked and Aerial Human.
Aerial Human, yeah.
Yeah, 22. And what it was, I
And
listened
then
to.
Fortune was my last one.
Fortune, yes.
Yeah,
So, they're all different. So
they are.
you can,
But you're hearing an evolution there because I'm learning how to
it's a
use
good
my
thing.
tongue.
It's a good
Yeah.
thing. You cannot
I
stay
mean,
in the same.
I listen to stuff that I wrote 5 years ago, and I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
in the big game for me is just getting better with each release.
Yes.
I was just having this discussion last night that for some people, it's important to them to sort of matter. That the reason that they do music and write music is to do something that matters and to do something that reaches
Mm.
people and all that. And that is very important to me as well.
Yeah.
But the other thing that motivates me is much like a runner, which I'm a runner, and you do races, and every race you want to do your personal best. You want to be, you don't necessarily care, at least I don't, because I'm not good enough to care. You don't necessarily care what everyone else is doing. You want to be your personal
Right.
best. And that's
Right.
that's kind of how I approach writing music and
Mm.
producing music, is I want each release to be my personal best.
Yeah. I seen some of your posts and I see you do a lot of exercise. So it's,
Yeah, I do. I
yeah.
do. I I don't, is it okay to plug Peloton? I don't do the Peloton bike, but they
Mm.
have some really great programs for
I know. I don't have it,
bodies.
but my daughter has a Peloton.
Yeah, I don't
Count.
do the bike, but I do their strength training and their Pilates, and
Yeah.
it's a really great program.
Yeah.
Kind of addicted to it.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, you took, like you mentioned, a big pause, like maybe 14 or 15 years, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's probably about 15 years,
Do
15,
you,
16.
just asking, do you have any regrets for waiting such a long time? Like maybe if I didn't wait, like let's say 15,
Mhm.
maybe 10 years instead.
Yeah.
15.
I don't, because the most important thing I've ever done in my life was become a mother.
Hmm.
And my children are the most important thing in my life. And we have a great time together, my two daughters and I. I mean, I'm happiest when I'm with the two of them, and we're all
Mm,
happiest when the three of us are together. So I have zero regrets about, focusing on them.
mm,
Um, and I like the scene that I sort of walked into when I started, getting back into it in late 2018, early 2019. And
hmm.
what I'm finding is, ironically, is when I do my interviews, and we kind of talk about, that artist's career, a
Yes.
lot of them also took that break. to have, get married, have
Yeah,
children,
yeah,
or do whatever, or maybe just work on themselves.
yeah, yeah.
I'm finding that a lot of people sort of were doing something and then sort of re-entered the scene around the time I did. And it was this strange reawakening we all had. I honestly think it's something bigger than us. And I know that sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
I really do, because it sort of happened we all got the tap on the shoulder at the same time, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I understand. I just interviewed somebody, a singer-songwriter, a couple of weeks ago, and she's from New
Mhm.
York, and the same thing happened. She came back
Yeah.
not that long ago.
It's a very common story, I'm
Yeah,
finding.
yeah, it's nothing different. But do your kids love what you do, or they prefer the music you do, or they prefer maybe Sabrina Carpenter or somebody different?
Ah, that's funny. So, my kids are actually on my albums, on some of my releases. On Fortune, my daughter, Nika, her name is Veronica.
Okay.
She does the beautiful background Oz in Stand Together. So her
Oh, okay.
stage name
Oh,
is Veronica Tam. Her name's Veronica Tamara. And my other daughter, whose name is Tori Victoria, her Hebrew name is Hava.
okay.
She does the gorgeous Hebrew chant in Bereshit, the
Oh,
opening track for Fortune, and that
okay.
was actually the chant that she did at her bat mitzvah. And what it is Bereshit is Hebrew for in the beginning. So that's the intro track in the beginning, and that was her Torah portion that she read at her bat
Oh,
mitzvah.
okay. So they were
Yeah.
happy doing that for you.
Oh yeah, and she also did sax. She's a very good saxophone player. She
Oh,
also did saxophone on a cover I did of Eddie and the Tides Power Play for Distortion Productions' "Be One of Us" compilation.
oh,
And oh, by the way, that's my record label, Distortion
right.
Production.
External. I was going to mention that. Yes,
Yes,
that's very interesting.
label owner Jim Simonic, who's angel of a human being.
Huh, that's very
Mhm.
interesting. So,
Mhm.
um, uh, are they still gonna collaborate with you in the future? Do you
Uh,
have plans for them, or
I,
maybe
I,
that's
I mean, I,
that's
I hope so. My older daughter is currently in Georgia getting her PhD, so it's kind of,
okay?
she doesn't have a DAW, so it's kind of harder to, do anything with her unless she's up visiting. My younger daughter will probably, pop in here and there and do
Hmm.
things with me. She just has such a beautiful voice,
Hmm.
they're both very musical, and they're both scientists as well, so and we're all like that. We're all women in STEM, but we have a love of the arts as well,
Huh, that's very
which I
interesting.
also find to be a very common thing with other artists that I talk to.
Hmm. When you sing, do you feel more like you're telling your own story, or when you write, or you're just channeling stories from other people?
It's really a combination.
Hmm.
I like science fiction, so some of my songs are very sci-fi based. And in this latest release that I'm working on, there are a few sci-fi based songs.
Hmm.
There's a couple autobiographical songs too, and there are many songs in across all my albums that are little bits and pieces of my story as well. So
Got
it's
it.
it's really a combination.
Hmm. So um your music is always like very, like you said, it blends all different types of music genres,
Yeah.
which makes it fun for me.
Yeah, I love
A
so
lot of
many different.
danceable tracks that you can dance to, that's for sure. Then
Yeah.
other tracks that you're more ambient,
Mhm.
which is great because it keeps you, your attention, keeps your attention on the music. You just don't doze away or fall asleep. You know.
Yeah, I find myself writing some of the faster paced tracks to put into the live show.
Hmm.
Not that you can't do slow songs in your live show. I think probably the slowest one we do is Greed, but I love doing Greed because I
Hmm.
get to do that vocal coded Greed,
Right.
and it has such a great dark, almost sinister vibe to it, and it's actually a song that I wrote about Donald Trump,
Oh,
so which is why it's called Greed.
you can write too many songs. If you keep writing about him, you'll be writing every song every 2 seconds, a new song.
I know. I know.
I don't know
But
how
yeah,
truthful. I don't know how truthful they will be your songs or not, but
that's right. If I write about what he says, probably not at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, uh,
so yeah, I like doing a combination though. I mean, I like some of the slower songs, but I feel like you can't build a live set just on your
right.
your slower songs. So I try and put some dancier songs in there, get people moving.
Yeah, you put a lot of different mixes on because there's so many different mixes. You collaborate with a lot of people. How do you get in touch with them? Do they get in touch with you, or you just how does that work? Like with the Joy Thieves and
Mhm.
Eric Bumpy. How do you get in touch with those
It
people?
it's really all networking. But I will say that back in the beginning, back in 2019, I met Martin King from Dog Tablet.
Hmm.
And he was just absolutely wonderful. And he asked me to do vocals on Feathers and Skin, their album Feathers and Skin. And then from that album, they did a remix album called Muscle and Bone.
Okay.
And I did a remix on it. And there were, I don't know, probably like 20 remixes on that album, a lot of remixes. And I kind of went through that list and I got in touch with a lot of those people because there were some remixes that really blew me away. And I started, doing interviews on on our radio show, Situation 47 with Melody Horror. And
Hmm.
that's how I really started kind of networking, is the people I met through Martin. And I've made some like lifelong friends, just from that list of people alone.
Right.
And one of the things that was really nice about moving to Chicago is being able to see those people and hang out with them in person and have them over for dinner. And like
Okay.
on my duet album, on my duet EP, Mike Reedy, who does one of the songs, he was at the Martin Atkins post punk and industrial museum last night, and I happened to be there. We were there to hear Marky Ray talk about some of his
Hmm.
tales from the tour bus, we'll call it. And he was there, or I went to see Sign and Curse Mackey,
Hmm.
the other night. And of course, and Martin was there, but then of course I got to see Curse and Rona as well. So it's like Chicago is such a great city for music, and there's so many people here that are a part of this scene that I feel like I'm always at some event or another. I'm always, bumping into someone. But and then there's plenty of people who I've only spoken to online.
Right.
Some collaborators. One of the really nice things about doing the Electronic Saviors tour this summer was I got to tour with Red Locust, which is Jim Simonic and his partner Lee Lauer. Now I'd already met Jim in person, and we played together several times before
Hmm.
that tour. But like Interface, Eric Eldridge was
Yes.
also on the tour. Never met him in person, but we actually did a song together called Whispers, and we actually did the song on the tour live together.
Hmm.
Um, Amaranth was one of the bands that played with us in Detroit, and
Yes.
Ken Magerman is an Amaranth, and he did a song called World by Voice with me on the Mask album, and we did that one live. So it was really cool getting to finally meet people that I'd only spoken to, like we're talking, on Zoom or whatever.
Right. Hmm.
Um, and also, really importantly, one of the artists that came to Chicago from LA to play for the Chicago night of that tour was Jane Jensen. And Jane and I had become friends. And
Oh, well, let me tell you the truth. I
yeah,
just came across her on Instagram today,
uh,
today,
yeah,
today. And I saw you that you were like friends on Instagram.
yes,
And
yes.
I almost sent her an email and I just
You,
stopped because I said, I'm not sure. I didn't even listen to what she does.
you,
So let
you,
me, before I do anything, let me see but I
you,
knew
you
that there
should
was some connection.
You should listen to Jane. She, first of all, she's a legend here in Chicago.
Hmm.
She's done a lot of great work. I'll be watching TV and like one of her songs will pop up on one of the TV shows,
Hmm.
And she's also a great person. So not only did I get to meet her in person and work with her, but she and her drummer actually like stayed at my house overnight.
Oh,
After the show, so she and I got to do some girl talk until the wee hours of the morning. So but those are the wonderful things that that
yeah,
happen
that happens.
with
Especially, is that because the reason you moved to Chicago from the Rochester area?
from
Is that
Rochester.
one of the
Yeah,
reasons?
yeah, I mean, the music scene was absolutely a big reason. One of the other reasons is it was time for me to downsize because both my kids were off to college. So my older
Okay.
daughter went to Georgia to get her PhD. My younger daughter came here to Chicago to go to Loyola University.
Oh,
And I would have had this big empty house in Rochester. So,
you
and
and your cats.
yeah, me and my two cats, I would have been, the cat lady. So, I came here to Chicago. I bought a smaller house, which is,
Mm.
so much easier to maintain. It's fantastic. And, and again, I had the benefit of being with a bunch of people that I was already friends with, you
Yeah.
know, and getting to, see a lot more of them and
Yeah.
bumping into them at shows and stuff.
Yeah. I've never been in Chicago, to tell you the truth. Never, but maybe one day. Well, I saw a couple of your videos. At least one of them it was filmed in the city of Chicago, the Metaform. Uh,
Oh, Metamorph. Yeah.
Metaform.
Yeah, that
You see
was
what
that was
happens
filmed
when my British accent gets confused.
that was filmed by Joel Lopez, another person that I just ran into last week at Ayatoya's show. I went to see Ayatoya play.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and Anya's also a dear friend, wonderful person.
Oh, yes,
And
because I interviewed Aya about a
you
year
did.
ago. Beautiful person to
Yes,
talk to.
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So saw her show, and Joel was there, so got to see him, catch up with him a little bit. But
Mm,
yeah, he shot that in various locations in Chicago, in the like downtown-ish area of Chicago,
yeah.
and yeah, that was a fun one. That was a really fun video.
Yeah. Yeah. I suggest my video my viewers to take a look at her YouTube. Uh,
Hmm.
it's just type Sapphira Vee. I think it's all it takes on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. Go to YouTube
It's not
and
that hard to find her and
search
watch her
on
video.
Sapphira V. You'll get right to it.
Yeah, it's easy. That's what's the meaning of Sapphira V for you to be an artist? Because that's not your name. You weren't born Sapphira V. You
Right.
were though?
My name is Janet.
Janet.
My
Right.
Hebrew name is Sapphira, and it's Hebrew for sapphire, which is my birthstone. So that's the
Okay.
story behind that. Um,
Okay.
so I had started out as simply Sapphira, and I kind of wanted to keep it that way. But I found out there was another artist named Sapphira who was working in Great Britain, and she was doing some really good work.
Hmm.
Keith Flint had recently passed, and she was doing a charity single to benefit an organization that supports the mental health of artists in Britain. And she was just about to launch her single, and she got in touch with me, and she's like, I hope there's no confusion. And we talked a little bit, and I said, look, I will change my name. So I'm just starting out here. I can change my name a little bit and there won't be any confusion. She was so grateful. We're still friends. So
Hmm.
I put the V at the end, and instead of making it just a V, because that's the first initial of my last name,
Okay.
I added the two E's because I was told that if you put a V at the end of your name, people are going to call you Sapphira 5 because they're going to think
Okay.
it's the Roman numeral. So I just made it Sapphira VVEE.
Okay. Okay. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
Yeah.
is the origin of
Okay. But do
Sapphira
you
Vee.
have any Italian backgrounds? Because
Oh, I do.
background also.
Yes, I'm very Italian.
Okay.
I'm pretty much 100% Italian.
Okay, but you're talking about okay, because you were mentioning your the Jewish and the Hebrew and
Yeah.
so there is
Yeah, it's
something there.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that was an interesting journey in my life. But yeah, I am a reform Jew, and my kids grew up in the
Mm.
Jewish community, and they love the Jewish community, you
Mm.
know.
That's very interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, um, so if we, for what all you tell me, what type of emotions are you trying to your listeners to feel? Is there like a clear intention from your part when you
Um,
composed? Or it's
yeah,
just for more for you for your own uh how do you say
right.
well-being? I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, and I was just saying this the other day. Like for me, doing music is almost a form of therapy too, right? Because you get to kind
Mm,
of rehash things that you've been through in your life. So, I mean, there's that part of it where it's just me telling my story. But any emotion that anyone can glean that's meaningful to them from my music,
right.
I think is wonderful. I've had people tell me, yeah, you know, that song, there was I did a song called Too Many on, I believe it was My Game. And I had someone tell me that
Yes.
song got me through COVID. It was a woman who was immunocompromised because she had a neurological disorder. And she said, you know, I was so scared I was going to get it and I was going to die. And that song really got me through COVID. And, you know, hearing something like that is just so gratifying, you
Yeah,
know?
that's
Um,
great.
so yeah, whatever you can take, and it's almost kind of an angry song, but she didn't necessarily take it that way. But you know,
Yeah.
that it means to you, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna call you an activist. I don't know. That's not the right word. Maybe but you're vocal. You're being vocal about social justice and the creative freedom and all that. That's a big part of who you are, also. No.
Yeah, I mean, my soapbox really is just supporting women, because you know, being an IT person, because that's what I
That's
do.
what you do.
That's
Yes.
my day job. Um, I'm a woman in a man's world, and
Mm,
also really very much in the music business. I'm a woman in a man's world, especially in the industrial community. So you know, my message is we have to support each other, especially women supporting women. You
right.
know, because there's good old boys clubs out there, and
Yes.
you know, we're gonna get trodden upon if we don't stick together,
Mm,
and we need to support each other and lift each other up.
yes. Mm. How do you see the music and its technological integration? For me, it's worrisome, especially
Oh, AI.
AI. Yeah, because
Yeah.
now you just can compose, mix, and master tracks in like with the
Mhm.
AI, and you don't know what's real or what's not real anymore. Right now, there it's like
Yeah, well, AI mastering has been around for a while, and it's not as good as using a mastering engineer. I would sometimes use it to just sometimes after you get a mix of a song, and sometimes after it's mastered, there's certain things that stick out that you want to change. So what I would do is sometimes run a song that I'm not sure about the mix through just some AI mastering just to see what sticks out and use
yeah,
it as a tool, but not as the end game. And 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 again, in IT, we do the same thing. We've been using AI not as the end game, not to write code for us, but
right,
to take care of the mundane tasks that you know you get paid a lot of money to do, but like a
yeah.
monkey could do it, right? So why not let AI do it?
No, I
So
understand.
that's kind of to me that's where AI belongs
Mm,
in IT and in art to free us up to do. I don't want AI to write my music. I want AI to do my dishes.
right.
So so I have
You
time to
can.
write my music, and I know that AI doesn't do dishes, but you
Yeah,
get
I
the
understand. I know. I understand what you're trying to say.
you know, let's use it to our advantage in that way to free
Yes,
ourselves up so we can be more creative
right.
and we can do the important things ourselves.
Right. So, so like you tell me, I was thinking she must be working on new stuff because
Uh,
it's not like it's been a while, but you play some shows. I
yep.
see some of your concerts. What's coming up next? Do you have any plans for this year to do more, uh, play at some other new venues, or do you have something for next year? Like
Uh,
you're gonna keep working on your music, and then next year you plan will include touring or doing some shows.
yeah, my main focus on the remainder of this year is to get this EP out. I don't have a release date yet,
Okay.
but I'm hoping it'll be within the next few months. I
And the
don't have
title is
anything
unfolding. Is that
unfolding.
you're still thinking that the title that's was
That's what it is right now. Yep, and it's about the unfolding of each story.
okay?
Um, I definitely plan on doing more live shows next year. I would love to do a summer tour. I'm already talking to some people about that.
Mm,
So, you know, I've signed up for some festivals, but even if I do get in, it wouldn't be until 2027 because they're taking
right.
applications for 27 now. But any festival, anyone that wants me to book for their 2026 festival, let me
Just
know.
yeah, get in touch
I'm
with her.
ready. You know.
What's the best way of getting in touch with you? With email? Email you
Email or like
your
Facebook
website?
Messenger or Instagram DM, any of those platforms.
Yeah. And she answers, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Oh, I do. I do. I
yeah,
get
she
back to
answers.
people. I
she,
answered Jose.
she answered me, so imagine that. No, 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 I'm a nobody. Imagine that.
Well, you're not a nobody. You seem to know a lot of very talented people. You know my friend Zarina.
Oh, so I interviewed Serena.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is fantastic, isn't she?
Yes, she's beautiful. And plus,
She's just she's a force
she
of nature.
I was gonna see her this summer because I went to Spain and I'm live
Oh,
very
wow.
not that far from where she lives, but I
Mhm.
never made it. So maybe next time.
Yeah, I would love to see her live. I've seen videos of her live show, and she's just dynamite.
Yes. So I interview all kinds of. I enjoy. You know what? Let me tell something. I
Hmm.
interview a lot of bands, heavy metal bands, pop bands, some singer songwriters. I always enjoy talking to people who make, I don't know, goth,
Electronic
industrial,
music,
electronic
dark
music.
goth, dark
They seem
wave.
to be. I'm not gonna say nicer people, but they're easier to talk to. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's me, It's not. Maybe somebody else will say just the opposite. So the problem is not them. It's you. That's what. No, I enjoy interviewing everybody, but
Yeah.
especially people who make that type of music. It is something in there that I enjoy. I don't know
So,
what it
something,
is.
and I can't really speak to the pop community or the metal community because I don't really know a lot of those folks. I can
Right.
speak about our community, and it's a fantastic community,
Yes.
and it's a not a huge scene, and a lot of us are very good friends,
Right.
and we are very supportive of each other, and we like to work together, especially solo artists like me. I mean, it's one of the reasons I collaborate so much because
Right.
you can't always be an island. You like to work with other people, and make
Mm.
friends with people. So yeah, I've had really great experiences myself, as an artist and as someone like yourself, who does interviews with
Right.
people in the scene in particular.
Right, right, right. Uh, I never seen you live. I hope maybe one day. I know you have a lot of energy on stage. Yeah, you enjoy
Oh my
performing live. It's
God.
something
Yeah.
that you really enjoy. It seems like.
Yeah, somebody just asked me a couple weeks ago if I ever have stage fright, and I'm like, never, absolutely never. I love to get out there and tell my story and just release some energy. And it is a pretty energetic show. I'm constantly moving. I'm jumping up and down. I make
Yeah.
jokes that one of these days I'm going to fall off the stage. I probably will, but and actually for
You're
the
in good shape. You're in good shape. So you should probably if
I
you fall down, you'll get up. No problem. Go back
for
back on
for the
stage.
last song of the set that at least that I do now, I get right on the dance floor and I dance with people
Mm.
for spice. The song is spicy.
Hmm.
Yeah, so but I love being on stage. My guitar player Jen is a lot of fun. We have a great time together.
Hmm.
Um, and I love working with the other artists as well.
Hmm. Well, so I hope to see you someday, Sapphira. That would be nice.
I hope you do too. The tour that I'm talking with folks about for next summer might be hitting the East Coast, so you
Oh
never
yeah.
know. You don't know, Jose.
You don't know, but I'll keep
Be in a town near you.
maybe I'll be able to go a couple miles, maybe 2 miles from. No, just kidding. I'll drive an
You'll
hour.
probably see all kinds of great shows because you're so close to New
But
York.
but I'm getting old, Safira. For me,
Yeah,
I keep you get in the house and you start watching
I
things,
know.
and you don't feel
Well,
like going
I'll
anywhere.
tell you, that's why I love another reason I love being in Chicago. Because when I was in Rochester, I had to go to Buffalo or Syracuse or Toronto to see a decent concert.
Yeah,
Here, the concerts come to me.
I know
Everything's
you
like
don't know where
20
to
minutes
go.
away.
It's like, should I go
No,
here? Or should I go there?
there's multiple shows every night. It's
I
great.
know, I know. For me, I'm getting lazy. I know there was like a in Morristown, New Jersey. They had like a blues
Mhm,
festival.
mhm.
Couple yesterday, the day before. My friend said, "Why don't you go? We can go together." I said, "Oh man, I don't feel like going. I don't know. I enjoy Samantha Fish. Is one of my favorite guitar
Yeah.
players, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I should go. I don't know." and I never
I,
went. And I see the photos, my friend posts the videos and stuff. I said, man, I should have.
and now you're like, I should have
And
gone.
I'm like, I
I
should have.
actually see a lot of shows with my younger daughter. We've seen Billie Eilish, we've seen Lana Del Rey, who I love. I love both of those artists.
Yes.
And I was laughing when you said Sabrina Carpenter because we went to Lollapalooza, but Sabrina Carpenter didn't play the night that we were there. The night that we were there, Tyler the Creator was the big,
Oh, okay.
act. Last year we saw Chapel Roan, we
Oh,
saw the Killers. Love all those artists.
yeah.
But yeah, just seeing I've seen more live music in the last year than I've seen in the last 10 years in Rochester.
Really?
And oh yeah, it's been wonderful.
You feel
It's been
like
really
free.
great.
You don't have to worry about your kids for a while. And
Well, I'm usually with my kids, so
oh, well, that's
she's
even better.
always dragging me to some kind. But it's
Oh,
what I feel honored that my
oh
19-year-old
yeah.
wants to go to concerts with me. Like she'll tell me, "Mom, we're going." "Oh, okay, honey.
Yeah.
It's
I,
you
I
know
used
what?
to drag my daughter to go to some concerts,
Mhm.
and she was still too young. She will fell asleep. Listen to Tori Amos. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I saw Tori Amos years ago. I saw her in the 90s.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. I saw her a bunch of times already, but I'm a big fan also. But I drag my kids to see some heavy metal band, and
mhm.
they're tired. It's like, I don't want to be standing up. I want to sit. I'm like, well, just keep
Oh,
standing
suck
up.
it up, son.
Yeah, things like that. But
If dad can do it, you can do it
yeah,
too.
yeah. Please stay up. Please don't make me look bad. So yeah, well, I really enjoy talking to you,
Uh,
Sapphira.
sure.
It would be. You mentioned a radio show, Situation 47.
Yes.
Well, how can people
Situation for
listen to that? It's like a podcast that you can listen, or they have to be.
So we broadcast live out of Radio TFSC in Stuttgart, Germany.
Oh, okay.
And then we upload to Mixcloud, so you can hear it on Mixcloud. But it's called Situation 47 with Melody Hoare and Sapphira V. And Melody Hoare and I have been doing this it'll be 6 years in
Okay, I have no
December.
idea. Maybe I'll take a look at
Yeah.
it and
Yeah,
listen.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Super.
we play some really cool music, and we've talked to some really great people like Chris Connolly.
Mm,
We talked to Raymond Watts. We've done some pretty high profile interviews, but we interview people that are emerging artists that not many people have heard of either. You
right.
know, so
I
yeah.
enjoy doing that. So I'll take a listen to the show. Maybe I can find out about new music that I don't know about.
Oh yeah, you will. You absolutely will.
So
You'll
for
hear
other
some good
people.
stuff that you're gonna like.
Okay, so if I want to buy your records or download some of your digital albums, what do I do, Safira?
So you can go to a couple different places. You can go to distortionproductions.com. I think it's
Mm,
distortionprod.com. And everything that I did from Aerial Human on will be on Distortion. You can get to it there.
mm,
You can go to Bandcamp, search on
right.
Sapphira V, and then you can get to my entire catalog there, even the stuff I did pre-Distortion Productions. Either way.
But no, nothing from when you were 15 years old. No recordings from that time, right? No,
No.
nothing. Do you have? Do
Probably
you have?
better off that
Do you, do
way.
you have anything on a draw, like audio on a cassette or something that you did that you still
Oh
have?
yeah, oh
You
yeah.
probably do.
It's buried in my basement. Trust me.
Buried, but you don't want to throw it away yet.
No, it's part of my
Why
history.
not? Why not?
I don't know. maybe I'm being a pack rat, but it's part of my history.
No,
So
I know. Did you keep a lot of stuff from your childhood? Do you have a lot of things that you
I,
carry
you know,
with
I
you all the time?
I have a couple bins. I'm probably worse about keeping things from my kids' childhood.
Hmm.
Because those memories mean so much to me.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's good to have things like that in pictures and.
Yeah. I still carry like a beeper. Like remember that I used to have beepers and stuff to
Oh
carry.
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
have
pager.
beeper. I have an like old.
There's a certain time when if you had a pager, it meant you were dealing drugs.
Oh well, yeah, I had a pager, but it was for something different.
I used to carry a pager because I was on call. I
Me
was,
too, because I used to
engineering.
fix ATMs. So I
Oh,
have
I had a friend that did that. Oh my, that
yeah.
was a dangerous job,
I
actually.
know, I know. Tell me about it. I used to have a guard when I started, like a
Yeah.
guard with me. Then they got rid of him, so I used to go to the Bronx and East New York by myself.
Oh man,
You know,
were you Jose? Between you and me, were you packing?
I wasn't packing anything. I was packing a soda and a chocolate. But I would go into like those supermarkets and
Oh yeah.
bending down and opening the safe. And I was like not shitting my pants, but close. I was like, man,
Stick,
somebody's
stick,
gonna come
stick
behind me and
on your
hit me
boots.
and take the money. I was
Yeah,
like, but that was a
that
long
is a
time ago.
dangerous job.
If I had to do it now, I'll probably quit the next day.
Oh yeah.
But you know how it is. So tell me, Sapphira, I
Mhm.
really enjoyed talking to you. I had the idea that she's gonna be nice
Uh,
people to talk to,
yeah.
and she does great music because I gotta keep listening because it took me I was listening like for a couple of weeks to her
Mhm.
music, and I gotta go back again,
Good.
especially after you talk to her and she talks about the songs that and I wanna listen closely, and
Mhm.
see especially when I listen in the evening, better than in the morning. I think I keep more attention. I'm more keep more attention in the evening when I listen to this type of music. For
It's
me,
chill
ear
time.
early in the morning is like more pop, more
Yeah,
like to keep me a lot to keep me a little,
I
do
get
some
that.
work. Yeah.
It's just the
So
rhythm of the day.
yeah, whatever. So I'm gonna keep listening. And my friends, please take a look at her music. You know what I like, and I have good taste. So, you know, what else? Just listen to her. And that's it. I thank you so much, Safira. You're
Thank
a
you for
great
having me.
lady, and just hope for you, to keep making good music and all the best on your professional and professional life and personal life and everything.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, my friends, see you next week again. I hope. If they don't, yeah, I'll be around. I'm not going anywhere. What else can I do? Walk the dog and drink coffee? Might as well just listen to music and interview nice people. That's a good thing. Keeps me alive. I think so. See you next week.
I thought I'd heard them all, but there's another word to hide another word to say what you're scared.